Yo, what is good, guys? It's your boy Anime Mega Reviews, and today I'm coming back at you guys with Black Clover Chapter 286 review. I know it's been such a long time since I actually released a chapter review for Black Clover. I know I've been dropping the spoiler reviews, but just Fridays are just so busy for me lately, especially with my last year in college. So I'm just trying to pump out these spoiler reviews, but at the same time today, I'm trying to get back to regular schedule with the chapter review. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So last week, we actually saw for the first time Nacht, the real Nacht. And apparently Nacht and his brother Morgan, they are twins. I just found this out recently because I know if you guys watched my last spoiler video, I thought they were like two completely different type of just looks, sort of. And the way I'm going to explain this, I thought they were like, brothers, but I didn't know they actually looked alike. And so it wasn't until the spoiler video had came out, and then I looked at the comment section, I looked back at the panels, and I was like, okay, they kind of do look alike, but they just look vastly different. But pretty much in this chapter, we really get the backstory of Nacht and how he was very much just different from his brother Morgan. Morgan was just a person that was beloved by the Magic Knights and beloved by everyone and loved everyone, while Nacht kind of just stayed to himself and really didn't like too many people, except for Yami. And that's when actually we get sort of like the backstory with Yami, that Yami and Nacht were just great buddies because they kind of had the same type of personality where they didn't really care what other people just thought about them. They did what they wanted to do. Also, they had a similar type of magic type where you have Nacht, you have shadow magic, and with Yami, you had the dark magic. But they were like two peas in a pod. They went around the Clover Kingdom causing trouble, causing strife, just being some troublemakers, And when we really just get back to where Yami kind of branches off from Nacht is when he actually gets into the Magic Knight entry exam. And in this panel right here, we actually find out that Yami had met Morgan through the Magic Knight entry exam and they were put on the same squad. And that is pretty much where Yami started to branch off from Nacht. They were still cool, but it's kind of like that thing where you grow up with somebody, but you guys just go into two different directions. And Nacht was surprised that Yami was actually a good fit for the Magic Knights. And also, Morgan and Yami became friends as well. And you kind of sense some jealousy with Nacht is that, Morgan was just everywhere and anywhere, and everyone pretty much liked Morgan. And it wasn't until actually we see in this panel that this is where pretty much Nacht starts to really branch himself out from everyone and anyone and really gets down deep into the depths of demonology with his family. And his family pretty much didn't really care that Morgan had light magic and was pretty much opposite to what they were. Nacht was the one to hold up the family name of the Faust name and to get deep into the demonology. But I really got the sense that Nacht was just looking for some type of just acceptance with his family as well when I was reading this chapter. But it is through this time that Nacht dives deep into demonology, and that is when his parents really get him going and introduce him to the demonic rituals. Because I have a feeling that they weren't really introducing the two sons to this type of stuff just yet. This seemed to be pretty kept under wraps, and especially with Morgan being in the Magic Knights and not exactly knowing full well what his family was doing. And maybe he did know, but maybe they were doing it to small amounts and not exactly as huge as it was revealed in this chapter. I mean, I got to tell you guys, I was really surprised that they were just doing all of this underneath the nose of just the Clover Kingdom in general. However, Nacht was pretty good at it. He had a contract with 4 demons, as we already know. And on top of that, he was known as a genius. His parents actually loved Nacht, and that is when we see our boy Nacht, he starts feeling himself. He's like, look, I'm the head of the family. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I got all these rituals. I got these demons under my control. However, look, with power comes great responsibility. And that is when the Faust family really starts to just lose control and starts kind of getting to some crazy ideas that even some evil villains wouldn't exactly suggest. So their biggest new thing for the Faust family, at least during this chapter, and this new bright idea is apparently harnessing the power of one of the great 3 devils of the underworld. We of course know about Lucifero and Xenon's devil as well. However, Nacht's father reveals that there's another devil that controls time magic. Now, I know that the name was Lucifero it's not Lucifero, but guys, it's like a G at the end and O. I just pronounced it Lucifero just for the heck of it. I'm not going to try to butcher the word, but hopefully once the translation comes out, then we're fully going to find out what actually happens. But it's through this crazy ritual that Morgan reveals himself, and he's trying to save his family because maybe he caught wind of this idea, maybe he just overheard them talking about it. That was a pretty just stupid idea to begin with. I mean, my gosh. it seems to be like they were just kind of ignorant of the power of the devils in general. And it's kind of weird to me because they've been doing this for generations. It seems to be there would just be like, a warning that says, do not summon the three most powerful devils to ever be brought into existence. But they did just that. And Yukitsubara, he has this kind of shadowed for a reason. We can't really see the devil's full face. The horns look insanely long. However, we have to wait till the official scans come out and hopefully we get a better picture of it. But this devil immediately, like the face isn't revealed. Our boy Nacht, he is shook because they did it anyway. And the whole family is just frozen. And that is when this devil starts using his powers to just disintegrate. I know that the Twitter spoilers that came out and said this devil actually has the power of time magic. I mean, way more powerful than Julius could ever imagine or hope to be, but this is just scary. We see our boy Nacht, his family is just being incinerated or just, looks like they're like burning, but at the same time, it looks like they're just disappearing, like Thanos snapped out of existence. And that is when like Nacht, again, like I said before, he is frozen. However, Morgan, as the good child of the family, he acts immediately. Like he wastes no time and he goes for Nacht's wrist and he's trying to break apart the ritual band. Because we know if we look back to the ritual that Nacht had worked on with Asta, we know that these bands, they form on the arm. And I wonder if actually Nacht had got this idea from this ritual, to form this type of band for Asta to be able to use it. And Morgan, he is able to successfully tear apart the band and send this devil back to the underworld. Unfortunately, there's tragedy. Like this chapter is really sad. Like it just reminded me of just so many other shonens with sad backstories, but this is just a super sad backstory. And it's not in general, I would say, like a common backstory trope that Yukitsubara is trying to use here, especially with these twin brothers. But unfortunately, our boy Morgan, he is dead. He took the hit for Nacht that I assume would have killed Nacht, but he just took the hit. And it is on his deathbed that Morgan he admits his mistakes. He admits that he didn't let the Magic Knights know about his family's wrongdoings. And Morgan just says this is karma for him not letting the Magic Knights know what was happening with his family for the longest. So that kind of answered my question because I was wondering if Morgan had kind of like knew about everything, and he did. So I guess they didn't hide anything from him despite him being like a light magic user and him being exactly opposite to what his family was. But it's during these sad moments that, Nacht, he has just so many regrets. He loved his brother. And I get the sense that he kind of wanted to be like his brother, just wanted to be loved by everyone instead of just being like a social outcast. Although I did get the sense that he wanted to be his own person, but because he was his own person, people didn't like him. So I think that's kind of like the issue that Nacht was really just dealing with. And there's just so much guilt here because, Nacht, he actually was responsible for his brother's death. If he didn't do this ritual, no one else would have done it. Certainly no one else in the family was, I believe, capable enough to actually even be a part of the ritual in the first place. And Nacht, man, it's just so sad here. He says he's really loved his brother. He says, because of my presence next to you, I'm the one. And it's just so sad because Nacht, he just knows that, I'm gonna have to be honest here, guys, it definitely was Nacht's fault why his brother had died. And this is something that obviously he carries with himself throughout his story, and something that we are definitely going to see, especially in this panel right here, because, man, I just have to really feel for Nacht right here. We can actually see why he is so particular about people acting in order and people acting perfect, because for Nacht, we have to remember that for a long time, he lived the way he wanted to live, maybe just made some mistakes, but now he's just like really concerned about, look, you have to be perfect. Everything has to be in order. He hates debauchery. He hates stuff that's just not where it's supposed to be. He's to the T. He crosses all the I's. And that is all due in part because of the death of his brother, because he felt like that because he was this way, because he didn't care, his brother's death is on his hands. But that is when we actually get back to the main story, what's going on right now. We see, I believe this is shadow magic sort of like seeping in through this ice, whatever thing, ice and fire. You guys know, of course, he's in a fight between the two devils, and right now he's encased in ice. And I just have to say this. Now, do I think that Nacht is going to get a power-up? Certainly. I think he's going to get a power-up. Now, do I think that is going to be enough to kill these devils? Not exactly. I think he's going to weaken them a little bit. But if Nacht just comes out and kills these two devils, yeah, that's certainly a pretty big power jump. I think that he's going to buy enough time for Asta to come in and help him out. And I think that we actually may get to see Asta and Nacht versus these two devils. And that will actually be a pretty awesome fight. And right now we see the two devils. They're pretty much just taking their time. They haven't even used their full power yet. However, Nacht is saying, I'll push the limits. Like Nacht is saying, look, I'm going to go to my limit before I die. I'm going to give them everything that I got to try to attempt to kill them or at least injure these two devils before he dies. Is this a death flag? I don't know. I'm kind of skeptical of it. I don't think he's going to kill off Nacht just yet. But anyway, guys, that does it for me today. Make sure you subscribe if you're new. Also, hit the like button and comment down below and tell me what you guys loved about this video. And as always, make sure you guys stay safe out there, and peace.